Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of Here It Is with Kerri Burk. I have a very distinguished guest with me today, Karen Marshall, who is arguably probably the top real estate executive here in the South Hills. Would that not be the truth, Karen?
I've held that position for a number of years.
Is it bigger than South Hills? Because you
Yes.
seem to do work everywhere.
We do. The last several years at RAMP, which is real estate of metropolitan Pittsburgh, I have been number one there as well.
Wow, she's being humble.
I work hard.
You do work hard. You really do, and I am impressed by that. Did you grow up around here?
I grew up in Mount Lebanon, Upper St. Clair, and then came to Peters Township.
Why'd you become a real estate agent?
Well, I was working at TWA and as a reservationist, and I started to work part-time at a travel agency. And then my mother said to me, why don't you go and get your real estate license? And my mother-in-law at the time was a realtor as well.
Oh.
And so I went to a totally different company, someone who my parents knew very well, Elaine Whitland, and she owned Century 21 Metro, and I started there over 32 years ago.
Wow. How long did it take to go to real estate school then?
Then I did weekends because I had a little boy, my first child. So I went on weekends, and it's the same number of hours. It's 60 hours.
It hasn't changed at all?
No.
Oh, see,
Still
because
pretty
I was going to
stringent.
do it in California, and I had remembered at one time, and it seemed like it got more.
But
Now-
per state will be different.
oh, it is. It is.
according
Of
to
course,
states,
of
right.
course, of course. Would you recommend people to go into real estate?
Absolutely, positively. We are always looking to grow our market centers. It's an unbelievable profession in that you're diversified. You learn so much from the different clients that you have. You learn, this is the largest investment of anyone's lifetime usually, other than commercial buildings that they might invest in. And every step of the way, it's different for every transaction. So you might be, when I started my career, it was in dirt. I always say I'm still in dirt, new construction, land development, but that also catapulted me into developing. So then I have had multiple development opportunities that I've taken advantage of, and some not so good, but you've learned from every experience. So
Right.
you learn business, you learn governmental regulations that you have to go through.
Right.
You're at DEP, you're at Washington County Conservation, you're at the township meetings. So it's a learning process. We did Mr. Danforth's development many years ago on just about, and it was called Highland Estates. And we had to bring public water. The township wanted huge estate lots. And so they had stipulations and regulations that he wanted to
The
put the fence.
township wanted estate lots.
Absolutely, that's where that
interesting.
started. So he did the development. Took us over a year. Now, development I'm involved in right now at Juniper Woods, it's taken us over 2 years to get all the permits. Over 2 years. It's been
Is Juniper Woods big houses, big lots?
no,
or-
they'll be middle of the road, 4 to 5 to 6,
Okay.
which seems to be the average in Peters Township.
Yeah. I've also noticed a couple of developments where it seems like they're finally starting to build some like townhouse or patio
Homes. There's a lot of patio
Yeah,
homes.
finally, because it doesn't seem like there's many of them.
Well, we had a task force in Peters, and they wanted to know what did the populace want, and every one of us that was on the task force said a diversification of housing. Not everyone wants a $600 to $1 million house. That's not commonplace. So they did redo the land use plan and did an overlay and said, okay, we need townhouses in this area, we need carriage homes here, we need apartments here. So that's why you're seeing more and more diversification come up within the township.
Yeah, it's always a problem for me though, because it seems like they never do anything about the traffic patterns. Like that always seems to happen last. And I'm not saying just here in Peters Township, even like in LA, everywhere I've lived, it seems like they build all this stuff and then, oh look, there's a bottleneck here at 5 p.m. And I asked somebody about that one time, and they said it's because of federal money that you're
big
not
part of it.
Yeah, like even like building a new high school, and that's another thing I want to talk to you about. Is that you can't build, even though you're projecting that you're going to have an extra 10,000 students in the next 5 years. You cannot build for that.
Right.
You're not allowed to get money for that. You have to build the school for the population now.
There's only so much bond money that goes around.
Even though, and so then when you get this school done in 2 years, sometimes it's already too small.
Well, look, that's what happened to us in the middle school, I think.
I know.
Years ago.
I'm sure there's a reason why they do that. I'm sure. I just don't understand it
Well,
yet.
there's probably only so much funding. It's like Route 43 coming through, or I mean, the Mon Valley Expressway. They only have money for sections of it. We never thought it would come in our lifetime, and if you look around, it's here. I mean, the houses are coming down, the roads are being cut in.
Is that the 43 that you?
Well, not 43, the Mon Valley Expressway.
Oh, okay.
I was
Because I'm thinking I go on that road and I pay money.
We love 43.
Yeah.
There's nobody on it.
Right. Exactly.
And once the Mon Valley Expressway comes, I think that's going to absolutely take another group of it'll take another group of traffic off of our plates. But the turnaround is coming down on Just About.
That's always
Or
interesting.
Bebout and Valley Brook.
Yeah,
There's
that's
gonna
always.
be a
I
turnaround.
can't wait to see how people adapt to that.
If you adapt it, the one on 519, that's a tough one to adapt to. And then the
That's
crossover
what I mean. And then
further
I'm
out.
always like, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
And then some people, because it's not just me, everybody. I mean,
You have to do double takes because you don't know which way it's supposed to help you, but I don't.
but I
it's more
think the other
difficult.
people in the cars are a little questioning too. They're just, and so all of that makes
coming.
for an
But you have to
accident.
go through the Department of Transportation. It's a whole nother
Hoop you have
hoop to go through, and you have to. I mean, and there's only so many of them that give approvals, and you have to do their timetables, and once the traffic studies are done and turned in, then they have they pile them up on desks, and then
And then we get a bottleneck like we have at
Right.
Valley Brook and Thomas.
and McMurray and Washington Road. Those are supposed to be on timers. I think that every time I go up there, I want to avoid it and go to Vermont, because you just don't have the patience to sit in that bottleneck there.
I know. So that's one of my things. What is the impact of the new high school going to have on real estate?
Well, I think that it's a huge drawing card. I mean, we had Mount Lebanon do their campus many, many years ago, and every time you would go to show Mount Lebanon, you'd say, this is our college campus in Mount Lebanon. I mean, because it had all the facilities. Upper St. Clair was the next one. I hate to say it, but every time there is a school being built, real estate slows down, because I think people get apprehensive at first, not worrying about their taxes. So when Mount Lebanon was building their $93 million school, same thing happened. Everyone was on hold for a little while. Then Upper St. Clair did theirs, and there were lack of showings in homes in Upper St. Clair. It's just,
that
I think
interesting?
the hesitation comes in.
Yeah,
The wheels start turning. Will my taxes go up a horrendous amount of money? So that it's just an impact on people. But I think that our campus is going to attract so many people.
It's awesome.
Yeah, everything that we
I
have
have
there.
to say, I mean, an old country club, now a high school, it's pretty.
I grew up at that country club.
Yeah, just watching it go up, I just am like, what a beauty. I mean, it looks like it's going to set beautifully on the property, which is really
It's going to
awesome.
make a statement, and it's going to be an attractor. It has to be. I mean, there's no other way it could go. It has to be a drawing card for many people to be attracted to it.
And when people come here and ask you for, to find them a house, do they ask about the schools?
Oh, it's always number one. It's always first.
Really?
Sure.
And how do we compare with like Mount Lebanon and Upper St. Clair?
Well, okay, so I think we're still in 5th place right now. Mount Lebanon overtook South Fayette. South Fayette years ago was at the bottom of the rung. Then they went to number 1 when they did their campus. That's when they became number 1, and their testing scores went up. Wow. And Upper St. Clair held the position of number 1 for a very long time. And then now Mount Lebanon, I checked again last night, Mount Lebanon is back in number 1 position.
Oh.
Then North Allegheny, then Upper St. Clair.
North Allegheny? That's a massive district.
Massive.
Yeah, I mean, back in '94, when I first came here, I didn't want to be in that school district because it was so big. And the class sizes were too big. So that's an interesting statistic.
They test well up there.
They test, yeah, that is. That's kind of, I'm curious about that. Huh. Okay, so now, you would say that real estate's a good business to go into. And do you ever have internships? Do you ever take in like people?
I do. You
do?
Actually, I have a full-time assistant right now who does my marketing, who we had our year review the other day, or 2-year review, and she said, well, what if I get my real estate license? I'm like, absolutely, positively. I mean, that just adds to her expertise in doing her own job, but also adds to her future. So
Right.
it's only a win-win for me and for her.
Right.
And I took out a young couple on Saturday who, he's in commercial real estate, but didn't know about land development and new construction. So I took him for 2.5 hours, he and his wife, and I taught them different things, gave them my course that I normally teach, and drove them all around to different developments that we've done in the area and different.
I want to do that.
Okay.
Really? And you just taught him that and just showed him everything.
And he was so appreciative. And so, yeah, I do. I try to help young people. I mean, I had young boys, and it comes back to you. Everybody goes, oh, you're taking 2.5 hours of your time out. But that's such an impact on him. He was so appreciative, and I enjoyed every minute that I was with them. So.
Aw, that's neat.
It'll all come back.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay, well, so you've been doing this a long time, so you've got to have some good stories, like of people, because I would think that the skill set for being a real estate agent is to be able to get along with all kinds of people.
You have to be a chameleon.
Yes, because there's
definite.
so many crazies, and then of course there's the majority
Lovely
of people are
people.
lovely, but you always get a few wild ones, and I love those stories.
Well, we shared a few, but you have to know how to read people, I think. And I took counseling. That was my major in college. So I always say I use it every day because.
You took like psychology or something?
Oh, lots of psychology, but it was rehabilitation counseling. That was my major in school. And I tell people that are getting into real estate, you have to use that every single day, because you will have someone who is absolutely crazed about, my house isn't sold today. Every Monday, why is my house sold today? So you have to be able to tell them what you've been doing, be in communication with them all the time, but you have to be able to handle that situation and bring them down off the level they might be on because they're so frustrated that their house hasn't sold, and walk them through it calmly. The wife might be a totally different personality, so you better be able to read both personalities and be able to cater to both personalities.
Yeah, because I'd say when I moved here in '94, I was kind of a basket case, just everything new, never lived anywhere else, and got here and just was like, they don't have See's candy. they don't have sourdough bread. And like the stupidest things,
Set you off.
Yeah, just because it's just the change, and moving is such a, just
tumultuous situation.
Yeah, it really
Absolutely.
is tough. And I remember that my, one of the real estate people, or one of the something, came, and she had it mailed because See's wasn't here. She had it mailed, a big box.
That's a good agent.
Yeah, isn't that so? So I mean, there's a perfect example of something. She was trying to talk me down off the, it's going to be all right. You can mail order it, and now.
And now you love it here. Look at you, came back again.
Oh yeah, third time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I do love it here. I think this is a great place to be. When you can go to a Rolling Stone concert somewhere and not get shot at or accosted in the parking lot, I mean, this is a safe place. And for me, it's such a big comparison from LA, because there's also the part of like, oh well, there's nothing going on. But there is.
There is.
There's a ton of stuff going on. It's just going on in a little lower key, and you just have to get involved. I mean, when you move, that's what you have to do. You have to be a joiner. You got to try and get out there and do things if you want to get into the new area.
Well, so many people now are moving downtown, and they love that lifestyle down there. I can't tell you how many clients I have given up their houses in the suburbs, and they move down there. They get rid of one car. They only need one car. They walk to everything, and they are ecstatic about it.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
And they're taking advantage of everything that we offer. They're going to the Broadway shows. They're going to all the sports events, all the cultural district, everything that they have to offer. And we are one of the best food places in the country.
People don't realize that.
No. And we're still ranked in the top 10 as one of the best cities. So
to live and raise kids.
We have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Not that my son will ever come back, but we have a lot to offer.
Where does he live?
Now he lives in New Jersey. He was in New York City, which that was tough competition.
Yeah, definitely.
London, Europe. I mean, it was really tough competition.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something, and plus they take care of their seniors well here. The biggest problem around here that I see is that there's just not a lot of homes that cater to first floor living. I've not noticed that.
Well, there are.
There are?
There are 3 projects right now, and in Peters, and there's a 4th one 1, 2, there's 3 going on right now. There's another one that's right across the bridge, right across Cannonsburg Dam, that'll be Carriage Homes. That's North Strabane, but it's right here.
Is that where
You
the
don't need to school.
Cannonsburg Lake is? Oh, I love that. Where Mad Max is?
Right above it.
Oh, I think that's
Right
such a
behind it.
pretty view. I love sitting there.
So there'll be a mixed use development there. Heartland and Ryan will be in there.
Are they going to increase the bridge and make it easier?
I
to
think
get in
that's a
and
big project coming. Yes, they're gonna close it down actually.
out? Oh, yeah, because it's tight if you have to wait for somebody, and then if you have another big, development, that I can already see that being a problem. All right, let me see. What didn't I ask you? Okay, what's
Oh, my one story.
Yes, tell me. Yeah, tell me. I love the stories.
Well, we won't be personal. It was just an
Oh
experience.
no, and this is eons ago, right?
Right, many years ago. So I had a client call me from Microsoft, and he interviewed me 3 different hours over the phone over 2 weeks, 2-week period. His wife was from Pittsburgh, so they wanted to come back to Pittsburgh, and he was retiring from Microsoft. So we did the interview. I got to be his buyer's agent. Showed him north, south, east, and west. I mean, we went everywhere.
Right.
They landed on a house in Gibsonia, and the day of the closing, the builder took great care in putting gloves on to put the light bulbs into the crystal chandelier in the dining room. So it was a very,
No
very
grease on the bulbs.
right, very upscale home. So we go out to leave for the closing. That was our final walkthrough. We were leaving for the closing, and there was car oil all over the driveway, stamped concrete driveway. And my buyer said, "I'm not closing on this house." And I was a single mom with 2 kids, and this was my income. So I said, "Just let me see what I have." I opened up my car trunk, and because I have everything I need possibly in my trunk. You've been in my car. Got out my Gooby Gone, got down on the ground, took the grease out of the concrete, and we went to closing. So it was.
On your hands and knees.
On my hands and knees, I did it. And the builder looked at me. He didn't even have anything to help.
Was the buyer saying anything to you like, Karen? No, really.
No, he wanted that off. He wanted it off. So I accommodated. I was thrilled that I had the Gooby Gone in my car.
Oh, I know.
I don't go anywhere without it now. It's always in there. That
Yeah.
WD-40 and hammers and nails and
All of
boots for
that.
my clients. I also
Right,
have
in case
extra
it's
pair-
muddy.
Right,
Which it's muddy a lot. This year has been really muddy.
rainy, very rainy. Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, so how is the real estate market here in Peters?
Just Peters? I think
Just
it's
Peters.
really picked up. There's a lot of homes sitting on the market. I think we have today or last night we had 173 total.
And maybe this is
That's
the
a
time
lot.
because of the new high school that it's going to slow down a little bit. Is it possible because of that new high school?
It could,
just possibly.
but it's 2 years away still.
Okay.
So I can say that this weekend I sold 2 things. And so I have a domino effect. So the third property will be sold as well. So for it to be a week of no sales or 1 sale and then to have 2 in 1 day is spring has sprung. I always say spring is in the air.
And your business too, like, don't you think you always have to be on?
24/7.
Yeah, because I can tell anytime I call you or text you or anything about anything, boom, I'm at a conference, but I'll call you,
soon as I get
yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, you're always,
Communication is
yeah, and I can't imagine that, and I'm not, there's got to be tons of people that are just, needing to talk to you.
Well, there was a really cute joke that came out a couple weeks ago, and it was, "What's it like to be a real estate agent?" And then the return was, my phone and my beeper go off 24/7. My texting's going off, and somebody's calling you 24. I mean, really, 11:30. I had people call at 1:30 in the morning before. It's their heat went off, and so they're calling because they're panicked. Everyone's
And-
different, and
right.
everyone copes differently.
Right.
And when they have no one else to call, you are that go-to person.
Right.
So unless you have big shoulders and nerves of steel and
Endless energy.
you have a big ear, you have to be able to listen and be able to decipher what they're really saying, and then be able to react to that properly.
Yeah, because I can see
You
that.
understand that?
I totally understand that.
We've
'cause-
had how many transactions?
Yeah, just because I've been through it so many times that moving, it can be very difficult, and everybody does react differently, so. All right, so what was the other thing I wanted to ask you? Do you think, is there still a lot of, it seems to me like there's just a lot of land here still to develop. Like this could still keep growing as a steady growth potential.
Especially with the new land use plan and the way they have done done the overlay and accommodated again for multiple housing. So you'll see more PRDs going in where there's mixed use.
PRDs, DFWs, I don't know, what does that mean?
It means it's a mixed use development.
Oh, okay.
So you could have townhouses, carriage homes, and single family all within the same amount of acreage, the same development, which is what Ryan and Heartland do a lot. They've done that a lot in different areas to begin with. But now you'll see more of that in Peters Township because the permitted uses have come. The lot sizes will be down. They're not going to be, half acre to plus. They're going to be
care.
They're going to be quarter acre, third acre, but you're going to have way more open space. Or you're going to have two-sided sidewalks, two sides of the street with sidewalks. That's going to be one of their stipulations, which is what we have at one of our new developments coming.
Yeah, and so
Not one side, but two sides. That's a lot of concrete.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Walking trails.
That makes me think of LA, because if you buy a house in LA and the concrete's broken up in front of your house, you have to fix it. If you have a corner lot.
All concrete cracks. That's what one builder I had
Especially
years
with
ago.
big trees.
Right. Well, yeah, that's going to be heaving.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, so what changes have you noticed of your buyers of late? Like, have things changed? Have they said, I want this or I don't want this?
They all want that open floor plan. And if you're a traditional builder and giving you 4 rooms and a kitchen on the first floor, they want those walls blown open. So I think the more contemporary in style, ease of maintenance. People want everything done, even on a resale house. They don't want to even come in want to have to paint. They want it all done. So when I sit down with the seller, I try to have them do as much as possible up front, because otherwise you're going to discount your house. The other important thing for every seller is to have your house pre-inspected, because nothing in the contract is protecting you. It's all in favor of the buyer. The buyer can walk away on any little minor drippy faucet they can get out of the agreement of sale. So you want to preempt that problem, because it's not the negotiations of the price that's the hardest part. It's after the inspections. The inspections are the kiss of death, basically, after a home inspection.
It's funny though, so many houses people just buy as is too. I see that where they just go in. And my husband's one of those. He wants, oh yeah, oh no, the roof's caving in, not a problem. Let's get it. No, let's not. Because then he leaves, and I'm there with the roofer.
Right.
You
But
know?
he sees, at least he has a vision.
Oh,
he
he's
can
big
see,
time.
Right. He can see past the minutia that most people can't. I mean, I've had people come in and look at me and go, is this the kitchen? I don't know. What do you think? There's appliances in here. There's a place to sit down. But they actually, whether that's ridiculous or not, but I've had that same question asked me and go, okay. Are you educated consumer or not?
Well, that's another one of the chameleon things about dealing with people, right? You got to
Right.
just say, yeah, I think, well, there is a microwave here, so I think so.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and what else? How about the energy boom? Because I know that this was before I came back.
Okay, so we have the energy boom, 10 years ago it started at least. We had an influx of the most mannerly gentlemen I've ever run into. I love those guys. The majority of them were renters because they didn't know if they were staying. A lot of them bought, but the majority of those guys were renters, and they're staying in hotel rooms, etc. They brought a lot of their families up. They'd be here for a year and a half, and then they'd be transferred back. So you saw a lot of the transient. They came, they bought, they left. Now the guys that are here that invested, they're all buying up. I mean, they're very. They became wealthy very fast, and so they're buying what they want when they want it, and they're gutting every house that they buy and redoing it. I mean, I can tell you that one of the major companies, one of their owners bought one of my listings, and this house had just been redone, and the wife came in and redid the entire thing again.
And that's what I find a lot of too, is
kitchens, baths,
you can
everything.
redo it and you can paint all the stuff white, and then someone will come in and say, I hate white woodwork.
Right.
Why would they? I want it stained. And so sometimes I think it is better to just leave it alone. But then it's hard because some people have no vision. They can't. And so it's really difficult when you're trying to sell perfectly, like be the perfect.
You can read all the articles.
Yeah, and stage it and paint it, and it can still just
But staging is really important.
Oh, staging.
And photography is the next best.
And that's the biggest thing I find here that's lacking. I can't believe how some of the real estate things that I see, it looks like.
They took it themselves. Well, because we used to.
And they didn't turn the lights on. I mean, like, I was like, you know, it's almost like professional photography in LA. So it's such a difference here. Now, not you, but I just noticed that it's not something that's caught on, and I thought that's something good people should get into. Real estate photographer.
Well, there's a lot of them out there now.
There is?
There's a lot of them out there. And then really great guys. I mean, they'll do videos, they'll do drones, they'll do video walkthroughs, they'll do the stills with wide angle lenses. They're very well versed, but there are a number of them that have come out of the woodwork. Yeah. And they come and they say, "Can I get all your business?" And I'm like, "I'd love to give you all my business, but I have, you know,
my guy already."
But that one guy can't do
everything.
Myself and 15 other people. So yeah, we will give, you know, we do dole it out to other.
And somebody might be better at a drone too, if you have a bigger piece of property and fly it in and fly it around.
And the music that they add to it, they do all the edifications. It's really, they do a great job.
And so bigger properties are still moving too.
They are. They are.
Interesting.
Even though you think that the majority of the people want to build their, if you're spending $1 million plus, you think that most of the, and the majority of people do want to build their own house and they want to design it and put their elements in. But you will find the person who doesn't want to go through that process and they want to buy all the furniture that's in that house. I have had that.
No, that's happened to me many times.
Yeah.
So they just say, "I want it all."
Right.
You know, and then I have to go, "Well, wait, that was my grandmother's."
Well, you'll pick and choose like
yeah,
6
it's funny,
items
but
that
it's
come
funny.
out of the deal. But yeah,
but it makes
great.
it so much easier. If you just move in and it's already decorated for you and the stuff's already placed where it should be,
even
it
the
makes
knickknacks.
Yeah,
I mean, even the knickknacks.
Sure, that's turnkey.
I've sold houses with, you know, cars and toys and
tractors.
Oh, lots of tractors. But
yeah,
you know,
all of that.
Drives. Yeah.
Oh well. Okay, well, this has been great. Very informative. I want to have you come back again. You know, not too long, see how things change. And I really appreciate you coming and sharing all of your wisdom. And that's it today. So I'll see you next time on Here It Is. We'll see what I'm into next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.